Cool. Good morning. Hello, everyone. Marcin is currently on mute because he is multi-streaming. He's on another stream right now, which is insane. But welcome. It's UmbraCoffee episode 117, and this is for many the first week into working from home, self-isolating, if you want to call it that. I think for developers it's mostly just called day-to-day life, and people have been sharing on Twitter this week their kind of setups, their home streaming setup, their home working setups, or as Lottie liked to call it this morning, Umbraco From Home, which is a far more positive way of referring to it. We had some people sharing their pictures on Twitter of their working from home setups. That's Lottie's, of course, with a lovely view of the outside. We've got Alex, nice widescreen monitor there. Gareth, we've got loads of others. Steve, lovely monitor again. Andy with a treadmill, which I'm thoroughly impressed with because my lifestyle is pretty sedentary. I don't get up and exercise as much as I should, and with lots of people staying home, it's probably for the best. And Mario as well, who's set himself up in his garage, which is truly awesome. I know, Marcin, you said, I think last week, about your working from home setup being your bedroom, but it's like your office, and you have a system of you shut the door when people can't.
Some rules, right?
Yeah, rules, boundaries. And for me, I've got my kitchen. That's where I work.
With a builders behind you, or
no? The builders today have moved from the scaffolding outside the window to the roof, and they're making a load of noise on the roof.
Okay, that's fine. I'm still multi-streaming. I will need to stop my stream in a second on the second screen. But yeah, I think that people are just finding themselves in this unusual position, and there's a lot of tips and tricks flying around from various sources, and Umbraco, of course, as well was involved into sharing is caring movement and combining how we can all help each other in those unusual times.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you also noticed, but a lot of companies, in GitKraken, which I follow, ActiveCampaign, Zoom, Discord, all of them just give away a lot of their resources and powers for free, and are helping us and everyone else to run things and businesses as usual.
There's been a lot of things this week. I think there was Microsoft Teams went down for a little while earlier in the week because there was so many people on there trying to host meetings. I know that I saw, in fact, a few people saying, "Oh, like my job feels pretty insignificant at the moment because I just work in IT. I just work with computers. There's healthcare professionals that are doing far more important things, but also people like us are actually needed to keep these services, these free things like Zoom up and running." And so it's going to be maybe a couple of difficult weeks for web developers as well. I know that in the UK we've had supermarkets whose websites have crashed because there's been so much interest in everything. But if I can add Marcin's screen, yes, I can. So as Marcin said, HQ this week shared their HQ shared their kind of a lot of the stuff that they're also doing to keep community active, which involves things like having their Zoom Pro account available to people
for meetups and communities as well.
Yeah, and they've done a few more, which I would say would be unprecedented things, which are the cloud prices were due to increase from the 1st of April. That's actually been delayed until the end of June. Or 1st of July. The other awesome thing is that they've delayed the V7 to V8 bridging course, which had to have been completed by, I think, the end of next week or the following week, in order for you to keep your V7 master status for V8. But that's now up until the end of June as well. And that's all thanks to a request from the community. I think Chris Houston reached out to HQ earlier in the week and said, please, could could you do this? And they agreed. But the thing that surprised me the most here is they've actually also, for certified partners, so they've effectively extended their subscription period and given them a 3 months partnership. That to me is really interesting. I guess it's because maybe they don't have as much ability to go and meet with people hands-on and that sort of stuff. I think it's only certified partners though. I don't know if it covers gold or anything else. But yeah, that's really interesting. HQ doing a lot. It's great to see.
Yeah, I think it's challenging times for all of the businesses, and those who are running online products are also challenged. And I've seen it more and more across the various businesses here in Poland as well, that even software houses, even companies who are doing software development are afraid, and because their clients are not even trying to judge what is coming in the next couple of months. And I've seen some really hard to say interesting tweets, but people said that for the first time, Naval, who is one of the, let's say, internet influencers, said that for the first time the whole world is focused on one problem, and that's really true. And I'm more than sure that having those powers, we will all be able to help in solving it quicker. And glad to see that our communities and our, let's say, daily tools and companies with who we are working with are doing steps to help each other.
Yeah, it's really widespread. I know that GitHub have given a bunch of their compute power to a bunch of researchers to say, use this to do modeling and things, which is awesome. I know that Microsoft, obviously GitHub, done very similar things. Amazon are coming on board with all of that. So it's like a huge industry-wide effort as well.
Yeah, but if we can focus on communities, because we as a community, we can probably do a lot for each other and share help and help. And basically help directly to everybody who is affected, and everyone is affected right now by the movement around it. I think it's a challenge for us as well, because I've been doing just a live stream for the school with children, and we adopted quickly because we were doing it already. But some of the people don't know how to do stuff like that, don't know how to do online stand-ups, online meetups, online live streams or webinars and stuff like that. So we can all help. And maybe as a transfer to this topic, we can start from what we've done last week or 2 weeks ago. Last week. So it was an Umbraco Tuesday, and it once again proved how community can gather. And we've been talking about it last Friday, that it was probably one of the most active Umbraco Tees Friday. And this college looks awesome, and yeah, we by gatherings like that, by meetups online and meetings and chats, we can just help everybody to stay on track with the stuff which we are doing.
I think it's just that there's definitely going to be a kind of mental health burden on people over the next few months, with being inside more, being more isolated, working from home, not having as much contact, and having seeing over 70 people here just kind of come together and have a celebration about something that we love, which is free Umbraco t-shirts. And it's really nice to see, and makes you feel a little bit happier. We need more of this.
You've mentioned mental health, and I've had a lot of discussions which are not technically oriented about how we will deal with all of it. We have our wives, husbands, families, children at houses. I know that England also has shut down schools from this Friday, right? This is the last day. So it is challenging, and it will be affecting our mental health and all of that around. But we also have a cure for that, right? We have Chris Dominic from our great Umbraco community, and she will be hosting a virtual mindfulness every Wednesday, starting from the next Wednesday, to help us with dealing with stuff like that. And I remember the sessions from Code Garden, and also we had Chris joining us for UmbraCoffee and performing a live 5 minutes workout for mindfulness and meditation. So there are cures, there are ways to handle that, and we are not alone. left alone for all of that. And there is a lot of online resources and trainings and possibilities to get away from every issue and every situation around that.
Definitely, and I think this is going to be a massive help. A massive high five Europe to Chris for agreeing to do this, because it's not hugely convenient with her being in Australian time zones. So, mindful mornings, mindful evenings, mindful middle of the night for some people, but
and other resources we had a script release this week. We're gathering a great set of articles from our lovely community members, Kevin, Bob, and Janet, and great set of resources. I've read all of them, and I totally said, okay, that's exactly what we all need to do to stay on track and stay focused on getting away from this situation. So if anyone haven't read those articles, just visit the script latest release and read it. And those articles are also worth highlighting, because I missed some of them, to be honest. And it's good to see that stuff is coming around, and script team done a great job once again to highlight that. One section which I wanted to highlight is of course the festivals and event section. I've been contacted by some of the people to update umbracofestival.com website, which we are maintaining for quite a time. And I've updated of course that some festivals are postponed or cancelled. And today,
delete the 2020 node.
Yeah, delete the 2020 node. That's sad. Yeah. But today is the day when the Belgian festival is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So it's sad, but it's getting solved, and hopefully all of those will happen with the bigger powers and all, bigger forces in the next year. Probably none of the festivals will happen till the end of, I don't know, summer. No one knows. We won't be judging. But meetups are going to happen online, same as Umbraco masterclasses, which is good. And I don't know if we will be talking about it later, but probably not. We have a lot of resources and help from Umbraco and community to deal with that.
Yeah.
And speaking about help, we wanted to highlight Anthony and his set of articles around remote working, some resources, and basically all of the experiences which Anthony gathered in set of blog posts and released it recently. Great as well. Once again, great set of information about how to use those tools to which we are used to, those who are working remotely for a long time. But some of you and some of the people are using them for the first time, or maybe are not knowing which tools to use. And there you can find it and see how they work for the teams which are oriented remotely. And even today, I saw a webinar run by Microsoft ambassador here in Poland about how to structure your organization and work remotely with Microsoft Teams. And so it's 1,000 people joined this webinar in the morning today.
People are suddenly starting to actually take an interest in, this remote working thing is something we actually need to worry about. I know that even in Anthony's posts, he talks about the place he works being very anti-remote. It's been historically everyone has to be in the office. You do your hours. You can't work from home. It's but that just doesn't fly in the modern with modern work, and especially with tech teams. It's great to see people. I think I saw, it may have been John Cito earlier in the week, tweeted that a bunch of people are only just learning about Zoom and Slack and Teams and all of these tools that people have been using to keep in touch for ages.
Yeah, I've seen some discussions and interesting memes or tweets like, do we really need those fancy offices at all? Those slides in the offices, football tables and stuff like that. Is it really needed right now?
I joked last week about you could create a virtual Hammerschlagen, or you could have virtual table football or whatever it is to keep the office entertained.
But coming back to whole seriousness around this situation, it will change the way how we work for sure. And it's proved, at least I see it in Poland right now, that, for example, medical doctors are able to supply you with information by phone or by Zoom or by Slack, Skype, it's possible. We were asking for that for years, and right now it's there, right? So something needed to happen to just trigger it all, and it's also a good opportunity for us as a tech people, because a lot of branches, a lot of markets don't know how to do it and don't know tools, don't know possibilities of the internet or web, and we can definitely help using Umbraco in the back office as well.
I just wanted to feature this comment from Steve in the chat about his local. He's a local councillor, and they tried out Teams for one of the meetings. And obviously, people had never tried that before, which is quite funny. We obviously live in a bit of a bubble, and have a bit of a luxury that all of this sort of these concepts and this technology is something that's in our day-to-day already for most people.
Yeah. I'm really grateful for being exposed for the technology earlier rather than forced and punched with this right now.
Can we talk about Umbraco?
Yeah. I have mentioned Umbraco, so and we are on UmbraCoffee, so it would be good to talk about Umbraco for a while. We had a security patch information released this week with more detailed description of the issue, and we know now that the client dependency library was the one which was affected and responsible for some issues. We've rolled out the updates. It's not so painful as we were afraid of when it was released without the details and informations. So all what's needed to be done in most of the solutions is the upgrade of client dependency library to the latest version described here. And in some cases, if you are starting new projects, or if you are able to do a painless upgrade of Umbraco to the latest patch version, it's also included in the Umbraco 7.15.4, if I remember. 7.15.4 for 7, and of course 8s are also patched, upgraded. Cloud, and that's where a lot of people were admiring the cloud, because this type of upgrades are really awesome, because you don't need to do anything with that. It's just there, and I think it's definitely one of those advantages of cloud projects in these situations, because really when at least when we started to planning all of the deployments and all of the changes, it exposed that some of the projects are less complicated, some of them are more complicated, and it's not that easy, like roll out, copy it to every server and just do it, because it requires more attention.
I have a question on this. Do people charge their clients for doing this? Because whenever I've had this before, the whole we need to do this, it's really important. The clients go, okay, great, we'll get back to you, and then you end up spending loads of time trying to work out if you charge for it. My approach is you just go, if we're actively working with them, update it. It's in this case it's a single DLL. It's not that involved, hopefully, and then liaise about deployment time.
But when you're looking on the time, as I said, it depends from the project. Some of them are more complicated to even deploy to do the rollover to servers, various environments, stuff like that. And I think it's a good question, because I'm currently working and planning the whole support procedure for clients, and something like ongoing level of support, which is everything is handled for you, same as cloud. Don't worry, everything will be up to date. And then some of the requests for that. And I reminded a funny situation with some government projects here in Poland. And I've been contacted by the manager of them, and they were running 120 Umbraco websites for the government. And there was this big patch and security vulnerability last year. And I've said to them, you need to upgrade, because you're able to expose the web config file, for example, for public view. And as this is a government project, I treat it as an important stuff. And they said, okay, we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll contact you if we'll need to proceed that. 6 months later, 1 year later, of course, nothing is done there. So I won't be pointing to those websites right now, but it's a challenging stuff. So maybe it might be a good poll for Twitter, for the community, how they are dealing with that, because I think it's a challenging part for every business and agency as well.
And just quickly to finish off on that topic, a call to action: if you've not patched your sites yet, do it. HQ have been really, really good at making sure that this was responsibly disclosed and people were given a notice and told to patch it, they still haven't publicly released what the fix is. And so you could maybe go through the code and try and work out what the issue is with client dependency, but the fix still hasn't been pushed. So until that fix is out in the wild, people don't necessarily know how to target your sites. So in this case, you've got hopefully a couple of days still to go and patch stuff. And again, big kudos to HQ for how they've handled it. It's been very smooth.
Yeah, I think we can definitely highlight this approach, and it gives space for companies to roll it out. And first, some issues in the past, people were just jumping on the repository, checking pull requests and code, and everything was on plate. So it's a good, and for all of us and for the security of our projects, it's very good to not expose it. Good. Yeah. So that was about security patch. We had some releases also this week, so we can probably highlight them as well. Bootstrap, with who we met in Bristol recently, released her first package, and it's an encryption property editor, which looks really nice and interesting for the purpose of security again. So if our projects wants to use encrypted data, and if we want to manage, if we want to encrypt some data straight from the Umbraco back office as a property directly here, we can use this package and make sure that it's safely stored also in our databases.
And this is her first Umbraco package. So and it looks awesome. Great work.
I will give her a heart here. Yeah, you rock, Bootstrap. Thanks for releasing it. Second package which I wanted to highlight this week is Gandalf. New package from. Yeah, you shall not pass. Some kind of evolution of SiteLook started by Anthony some time ago. But here it's a Gandalf package allowing to whitelist or block IP accesses for Umbraco back office and front end, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And manage
it. The back office is still exposed, but the front end is
content, so
protected.
And manage it from the back office directly. And I had some chats with Anthony about this on Twitter, and there are some use cases definitely where it's very useful for projects such as cloud accesses and projects which are hosted somewhere where we don't have access to, maybe to server manage layer. And of course, there are some use cases where developers want to have more control over it, source control, maybe settings for the accesses like that. And yeah, really nice package again.
We had the weekly updates from Kevin.
Of course.
Kevin's done his usync v 851 and usync complete 851. It's just some fixes in here, but yeah, he's properly on top of it. And I've noticed he's incredibly good at keeping on top of the Umbraco releases too. So an 8.6 release will come out, and within the day he'll have a new version of usync too. So in this case, he's put some things in to basically preempt what's going to happen in 8.6, which is really cool.
Yeah, we should all learn from Kevin how to adjust it to product releases. Yeah, big kudos, Kevin, again. And we had a product update from Umbraco directly, right? With some highlights about Umbraco 8.6, which is going to be released on March 31st, which is really soon. Yep.
Ooh. Cool. Froze. Yeah, I was saying it was going to be released this week, but the patch kind of took precedent. But yeah, March 31st for 8.6.
The second thing to highlight is probably the deploy on premise, right? Which was targeted for launch in Q1, but it will be pushed to the Q2 in this year as well. And there was a cloud information about discontinuing support, for TLS. Yeah. Which is good from the perspective of evolution.
Well, I'm really surprised that a lot of infrastructure companies and hosting providers still support TLS 1.0 and 1.1. I think they've been dead for like 10 years now. So
yeah, of course, we remember those lines in our code to have conditions to support all of them, because we never know which TLS will be supported. But yeah, here we're one step closer to getting rid of those checks.
This is Monday, so Monday all that support goes. To be honest, most people aren't going to see any real difference. It will be if you've got someone a client running Windows XP or some like really old version of Internet Explorer that doesn't know about TLS 1.2 or 1.3. Yeah.
So that's good. And the last point on the general upgrades was about the .NET Core status, and there is a separated blog post about it. Written by Bjarke with a summary of all of the steps already done, what has changed so far, and really nicely combined and written summary of actions of the whole .NET Core team. I didn't catch up all of it yet, but looks like planned approach and really nice roadmap ahead with the steps which are probably thinked more ahead of time rather than just rushed and done on
a well-timed blog post this week as well, because the .NET 5, which is the successor to .NET Core and .NET Framework, is called .NET 5. .NET 5 Preview 1 was released this week. So I don't think actually launching Umbraco for .NET Core on .NET 5, the target's still .NET Core 3.1, but the general availability of .NET 5 should be towards the end of this year. So, but we had the first preview this week. I'm gonna probably have a little tinker at the weekend and see
same here.
What cool stuff's in there.
Yeah, I remember some discussions that Steve just confirmed that during the talk on Spark, they said that it will be based on that. And also I remember some of the discussions that the team will be observing the evolution of the .NET platform in general, and steps are tailored that way that to be up to date and to be able to easily switch to whatever will be next. Which is good because the future is ongoing, but still there are versions which are running now. And I remember what was stopping people from using .NET Core, that the small appendix calling beta or something like that, which was not that bad in overall, because people are running on betas even till now in various projects. So
I know people who run the previews of the .NET Core previews in production just to test it. Put it through its paces.
And it works in some of the cases very well. So the whole roadmap is also defined here. Milestones are established. So really well described vision and plan for the next months and year probably. So if you want to catch up, I will keep it open because I want to read it carefully again. And this is released there. So that was from Umbraco side and directly about Umbraco projects. But we had also some blog posts around that, and we wanted to start from Matthew Hart and his blog post about Azure.
I love this blog post so much, and it's been on my list to write basically this exact blog post for so long. But it's so cool. Basically, hosting an Umbraco site for free. Nearly free on Azure, with some limitations, but it's crazy powerful, and really well written blog as well.
Yeah, very very detailed. And if you've been attending any of my talks recently, I have one slide on my slide deck which is called Tabula, and this is for the approach where you are tailored to just save money, and you are able to run it, you are able to do everything basically, but you are not paying for that or paying small amounts. And this is exactly where it fetches ideally. But this is a great blog post, great definition of how we can host Umbraco applications almost for free or mostly for free. For different purposes, because maybe for dev purposes, maybe for staging purposes, whatever.
Website. Something that's not going to get much traffic, but this is using Cloudflare, Azure. It compares different regions and how stuff might be priced differently. It compares the different levels of service that you get and the features you get. It's thorough blog post, and massive high five you're up to Matt for that. It's really good.
Yeah.
And you take notes off my to-do list. So.
Crossed. Completed.
Yeah.
The next ones are from Owen, and three great next MVPs and answers for questions asked by Owen, Heather Floyd, Soren Gregerson, and Lottie. We can dive into the stories and answers for every MVP being highlighted here. And I don't know if it's the end of the series already or not, because
he tweeted earlier, didn't he, that he's ran out. Okay. And Owen, yes, I've still not filled the
I intentionally highlighted this thread because I knew that you didn't submit.
Marcin. Yes, I'll fill the form in.
You will do it. And last two blog posts, deadline postponed for we already mentioned that, and coding classes at Umbraco HQ, done before this whole
pre-coronavirus.
Pre-coronavirus, and I think it's good to mention. You've titled it as what happens when those 16 future coders will enter Umbraco HQ, and I just showed you an info that I've been running the online classes for the programmers as well, and I'm amazed. The kids are doing better in all those online transformations than those government councils and company, most of the companies. What I was surprised about, that I didn't know that you can do the live stream on Discord. And when our webinar tool was down, kids organized their own live session on Discord, thanks to the extended limitations from Discord to this coronavirus situation. So yeah, we are investing a lot of time right now and efforts to help kids spend those times at homes more efficiently. And if we can, as the developers, help them in learning some technology and spend this time in front of the computers maybe more effectively than just clicking around some apples or whatever else, it will be very good. And Umbraco is included in some of those packages, so win-win.
I saw Pete this week tweeted he's been building a Scratch game with his son. They do some fantastic little projects. Like they've got the little robot that they've been working on, and the Scratch game, and many other things. But yeah, it looks awesome and inspiring for others, hopefully.
I have a really nice book, unfortunately in Polish, but it's called like Coding on Carpets. So you are learning with your kids by playing some games or challenges on your carpet, without machines, without electronic devices, without anything, basically just drawing, throwing stuff and learning basic concepts of algorithms, of conditions and stuff like that. And so yeah, programmers, if we are all close at homes with our children, we can spend this time having fun and sharing what we are doing on a daily basis in the funny way or play with our kids. And yeah, that's all from our list of things.
There's one more thing. We'll be back later again. So like last Friday, we stepped in and hosted the Umbraco Friday, UmbraFridayBar. Is that what it was called? UmbraFridayBar. We'll be doing the same. It's just a nice way to wrap up the week. So we'll share some links to join via Zoom. You can come on, have a beer or not have a beer if you don't want to, and just have a chat about the week. And we might stream it on YouTube for a little bit. We might not. Let's see. 3 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. Europe. I don't know what the time would be anywhere else. 10 a.m. in Central US.
Yeah, we will be definitely sharing the link to join us, and it will be very casual as usual, chat and discussion of what's happening, how we are dealing with the whole situation, maybe some tips and tricks being shared. Maybe if you want to share something Umbraco related as well, let's just see it, review it, share feedback, and help each other in dealing with this crisis situation.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. That's all. Thank you all for being with us today in the morning. We'll see each other in the afternoon. So it's not a goodbye. It's just a see you later then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cheers.
See ya.
Bye. See ya.